just want to just mention about, see, this is things we have to just realize. What we have to realize is when Bodhidharma just met Emperor Buddha is the emperor, name of the emperor. Then the emperor just asked Bodhidharma, what true ourselves is, what a true ourselves is. Then Bodhidharma just answered, I never be able to be aware of who I am. I never be aware of what I'm doing, even where I am, what I'm doing, and even where I am. This is our true self. This is true ourselves. See, we never be able to be what we are doing. We never be able to be aware of who we are, even where we are. So right now, but when we think about what people just thinking about ourselves, we know much about who we are. We know much about what we are doing. Even we know much about where we are. This is a completely misunderstanding. Never be deceived by thinking or thought. See, we never be aware of, we never be able to aware of where we are. Even we never be aware of where we are. We exactly right here, right now. This certainty, we always be aware of. See? Is it understandable? Okay. So today's topic is this certainty. So what's the Genrosh just the teachers? What the Genrosh teachers is today's the text number 36. Learn from certainty. Learn from certainty. Yes, this certainty is extremely special. Although that's ordinary, although that is ordinary thing, but for human, this certainty is a very special, very special. See, as I just already mentioned about it, when I face death, see, I just become this. You see, always I just become as I faced this certainty. This certainty is the truth of the universe. This certainty is the truth of the universe. There also, this certainty is our true self. You see, when I face death, I just become as I faced it. See, when I face this, I just become as what I faced. See? When I faced this, see, I just become this sun without doing anything. This certainty is the truth of the universe, the truth of ourselves. But the truth of what we just think about the self. See, Shakyamuni Buddha, the first person who realized this truth, this certainty. You see, is it understandable? Okay. So, what Gyan is just teaching us with number 36, learn from certainty. Okay, I need a kind of glasses. Ekyo-san, are you wearing glasses? Muchas gracias. Bryson-san, how are you? How are you? Okay. So, what are the Gyanos teachers with number 36? You ask a person who came to a strange land and was suddenly pulled out of the car. Where are you? Someone just asked him, where are you? Most people will answer, I don't know. Yeah, this is the state or the condition of the normal people. But we are thinking about the self. But this is a total misunderstanding. This is a total misunderstanding. See, this is a very important thing for us to do zazen. You see, this is the one of the key points. See, if you just want to realize who we are, this is the one of the key points. Okay. Even if he or she doesn't really know, however, there is a certainty for the person that he or she is here right now, or like here right now, at that moment. See, every time, wherever we are this certainty. There is this certainty. See, right now, I'm exactly here. But the thing is, although we are here, we don't know much about where we are. This counts first. Then we recognize the place where we are. See, that's later. See, we don't know much about. We never be aware of. We will never be aware of where we are. This is a first. Then we recognize that the situation, condition. Then we recognize where we are. Where we are is later. It comes later. But the truth, before recognition, we don't know much about it. We never be able to just aware of where we are. This is our truth. That's the Bodhidharma just answered for the emperor's the question. We never be aware of where we never be aware of who we are. We never be aware of what we are doing, even where we are. You see? So right now, right here, we never be aware of where we are. We never be aware of what we are doing. You see? Then you just recognize that's kind of state, that's the condition. Then you'll be able to just recognize what we are doing. That's the later. That's the later. And unfortunately, that is not truth. The truth is before recognition. Before recognition. See, we completely just we are completely acting without awareness. Without awareness, see, never be deceived by our thinking or thought. See, thinking also to come out later. See, but before coming out the thinking or the thought, we never be able to just aware of what we are doing right now. Okay, that's our truth. That is our true self. So you ask a person who came to a strange, came to a strange land and was suddenly pulled out of a car. Where are you? Where are you now? Most people will answer, I don't know, I don't know. Even if he or she doesn't really know. However, there is a certainty for the person that he or she is here right now, at that moment, in this moment, always right. We are always right now, right here. But we never be able to realize where we are. This is our truth. Then we just recognize that kind of state. Then we'll be able to just recognize where we are. But that is completely misunderstanding. See, the things is completely disappear. And then recognize that. See, then you just create a kind of a state with or by thinking or, but that kind of state of condition, already gone away, never left at all, never be left at all. Right. The things is what you faced, only what you faced, as you faced. Okay. Never be, never be misunderstanding these things. See, these things is very important for doing zazen. See, if you just recognize this, as I just mentioned about it, when you just recognize this, then these things and this is things is completely separated. Also, that kind of separation never happened, just happen. It's just happening in your mind, in your thinking or thought. That is not a truth. That is a totally misunderstanding. The reality is always one, always one. Then you just recognize that's oneness. Then the things just separated. Things just between this and this. This is a totally misunderstanding. That is not a true. Truth is one. See? So before you recognize this, everything is just going on without awareness, without awareness. So nothing happened, nothing trouble at all. That's a state. That's a state of condition of before recognition. See? Then you recognize that state, and then things just happen. Discretion, a separation. Then this one and this one just come out later. Before recognition, this one and this one never exist. Never existed. This is a totally problem, totally question for human being, So these things you have to completely solve, figure out. Otherwise, you are always deceived by thinking and so on. You are always in the creation of a thinking or the imagination of a thinking or thought. That is a delusion or illusion. You are always in the delusion and illusion. That's quite in vain, quite useless. That's the reason Shakyamuni Buddha or the patriarchs just teach us to realize what's the true ourself, who we are. Because what we are thinking about the self is entirely different from the true ourself. Only that, only that you'll be able to just realize this truth, this certainty. Okay, but unfortunately, we throw away this certainty. See, because see, as long as person who are always in right now, right here, never trouble or a question or the problem, or even what we are thinking about the suffering, never happen. Never happen. If you are completely be in right now, right here. See? What we think about this problem, thinking question, problem or suffering or the question never happen. See, that much we are completely peace. We are completely completely living in peace. See, this is the most valuable things for us to be. Okay, but unfortunately, we throw away this certainty. We struggle with what we don't understand. See, this is a way of the thinking of ourselves. This is a way of thinking. As long as thinking or thought are concerned, we just try to understand, try to know what it is, what's the things is, what's the situation or whatever. So we always just try to understand, or always try to know what it is. But that is a total misunderstanding. Total misunderstanding of the thinking or thought, that delusion. That we don't need to understand what it is. We don't need to know what it is. So when I face this, that's it. See? we know much about what it is without doing anything. Without doing anything. You see, when I face this, I just completely become this one. See, one. So I just become itself. This one itself. Itself doesn't need to know what it is because it is itself. See, and also we don't know much about what it is because it's self. This is our truth. This is our true self. See, this is Dharma. This is the Dharma. See, this is our true self. So when I face this, I just become this itself. So itself doesn't need to know what it is. And it's impossible to know what it is because it is itself, because of itself. This is our true self. This is Dharma. This truth, Shakyamuni Buddha just realized. So when I face this, I just become this. I just become this. When I face this, I just become this. That's it. Without knowing what it is. It's not necessary to know or understand what it is because of oneness. This is true ourselves. Okay. So, but unfortunately, we throw away this certainty. We struggled with what we don't understand. We just try to understand what it is. That's in vain. That's in vain. Useless. Because before we just understand what it is, we completely become itself, what it is itself. So we don't need to do it. This is done. It's very hard to understand, even hard to understand in a concept, in thinking or thought. This much, our truth is so variable. The wondrous and the tremendous, huge. Because we don't need to do anything. We don't need to do anything. So what people just try to do is try to understand, try to know what it is. It's useless. That's the reason. That's why people just confused. Because people just doing unnecessary things. It's unnecessary. You see, we don't need to do anything. When I face this, I just become without knowing anything, without doing anything. You see, this is our true self. Here is something. Here is something that we we need to pay great attention to when we practice. This is one of the most important key points to realize who we are. In other words, if you just realize who you are, you never miss this point. You never miss this point. See, when I face this, see, we just become. When I face this, I just become this. See, simultaneously at the same time. See, so that we don't need to do anything. We don't need to understand. We don't need to know what it is. We don't need to understand what it is. So, but what as I just mentioned, what people just do is try to understand what it is. See, they try to people just try to understand why we have to do a zazen, why we have to zazen, why have to do zazen. See, but although I don't deny this other question, but before you just before that question comes up, you will simply sit. You simply sit. That's the truth. That's the truth. But the question just come out later. Before the question, you simply sit. That's the truth. Without awareness. Without awareness, no. Okay, so here is something that we need to pay great attention to when we practice. See? So never try to understand the reason why we have to just do zazen. Yeah. Although the question will be all right. Otherwise, you cannot do a zazen. So the reason of the Dharma, the reason of the Dharma, you have to just make sure why you have to do a zazen. Then once you just understand why we have to zazen, why you have to zazen, then you just completely forget about what you just learned, what you studied. It's not necessary, you see. But once you just understand why we have to do a zazen, what the true self is. Otherwise, you cannot do a zazen continually, constantly. So the ones at least you need to understand why you have to do a zazen. So what your true self is. Then if you can understand, you can just accept the reason why we have to do a zazen, we have what the true self is, then that's enough. You don't need to know much more that. Then simply you just forget about what you just study, learn. See, what you study, what you learn is a kind of reason, kind of a thinking within a thinking or a concept. So that's our activity, our existence never concerned with the thinking or thought to the concept. See, we just sit. We just exist before you recognize we exist. Before you recognize we exist, we simply exist without awareness. Without awareness, no? You just then you recognize that's the state, and then you understand. Oh, we exist, but that's later. That's it. That is not a truth. That is not a truth. Okay. Many people who practice take a long time and have a hard time because they are trying to solve the problem of what they think they don't understand in their mind. See, these things are the people who just try to, people just realize who we are. Even people just who we are doing this. See, try to understand who we are. Try to know what the truth to ourselves. See, this way of zazen is a completely misunderstanding. See, whatever, as I just always just mentioned, what the zazen is, whatever thinking or thought come up in your mind, simply throw them away as they are. This is enough. Because, see, what we are doing, the reason why we are here is nothing concerned with thinking or thought. Nothing concerned with thinking or thought. That's easy. See, the thinking of thoughts is a kind of other or love to realize who we are. So it's not necessary. It's not necessary to hold grip a kind of a thinking or so. Just simply throw them away as they are. Just let's go them all as they are. This is totally enough. This doesn't. If you can do something, you'll be able to encounter through yourself. Through yourself is entirely different from what you're thinking about the self. Well, that's the Shakyamuni Buddha, just the first person who just realized this truth. And this is the most valuable thing for human beings. Okay, many people who practice take a long time and have a hard time because they are trying to solve the problem of what they think they don't understand in their mind. But this way doesn't. This way doesn't. It's totally useless. Totally useless. See, we don't need to know. We don't need to understand anything. Although we don't need to understand anything. But as I say, but at least at the beginning, see, to understand who we are, what the true self is in concept. Well, in concept. Otherwise, if you try to do zazen, it's very hard to do zazen. So this concept you have to understand sincerely. Then after you just they understand who we are, what to say, then simply just forget about anything. You don't need to understand. You don't need to know the things. Anything. You don't know anything. Simply just so that's I just mentioned. The thinking of thought just simply come out in your mind. Just simply throw them away as this shadow. Only this shadow you'll be able to just encounter through yourself. Okay, very important. So instead, in their mind, okay, instead to learn from the certainty that you are standing here right now, which is main pivotal practice. This is a key point. This is a key point of how to do zazen. How to do zazen. You see, well, the more you slow away your thinking or thought as there, the more you just become right now, right here. You see, only thinking, and although we are exactly this, exactly we just become this, but what people thinking about is the total different. Is it completely separate with this? See? This is a kind of separation between this and that. That is not a true. That's a totally misunderstanding. See, because as I just mentioned, see, a kind of thinking or thought become hazard as a block. That's the reason you cannot see through. You cannot see through truth. You cannot see through truth. Truth is one. You see, there is nothing concerned with this and this. Exactly same. Exactly same. One. This is a truth. And this is true ourselves. You see? That's why. That's why you just throw away your thinking also. Although it's easy to say, but it's totally difficult to do. See, that's the reason. Shakyamuni Buddha or the Peter just mentioned, even that's a hard thing. Please do it. Please do it. If you really want to realize who you are, otherwise you cannot just realize. You cannot encounter to yourself. So if you're sure of that, you'll be saved. That is a path of a practitioner. So see, as I just mentioned about you, the more you just throw away the thinking of thought, you just become this reality. This reality. See? You become this reality. There is no separation between this and that. See? If you are sure of that, so no separation. If you can just realize this truth, you will be saved. You'll be able to just realize you will completely be saved. You will completely be saved without anything. This truth save you completely without doing anything. You're not gonna have any problem, question, trouble at all. You see? Very easy. What people are doing is try to gain many things, much more things, and the people just confused. People confused. But if you really want the completely certification and the great ease, just to do that. Very simple. That is 1 square meter. 1 square meter space is enough. See, that kind of round cushion It's not necessary if you don't have. Just simply sit. Whatever just thinking or thoughts come up in your mind, just simply throw them away. That's that. This doesn't, if you can do, then you will encounter your true self. Then you will very satisfied with yourself. See, feel very great. Feel very great ease. That's it. If you go in the direction of trying to understand something that you think you don't understand, there is nothing you can do as a practitioner. See, as I just mentioned about, or as again was just mentioned about. See, it's not necessary. It's not necessary to understand, to know much about what it is. See, because our true self is just when I facing this is enough. This is totally enough because becoming one, becoming one. One is becoming itself. Itself doesn't know much about what it is, and it's impossible to know what it is because of one, because of itself. Okay, so don't misunderstand. If you go in a direction of trying to understand something that you think you don't understand, there is nothing you can do as a practitioner. Practitioner. It's useless. It's totally in vain. This doesn't, you never do. What's the Shakyamuni Buddha or the patriarchs just recommend us is simply slow the thinking of thought as the this doesn't. What the Zen Master Dogen mentioned about what's the thing we have to do? What's the thing he just recommended is we should cease from practice based on intellectual understanding and the pursue the words and the letters. This is things. This is whatever the thinking or so just come up in your mind. So the way as it is. The same. Exactly. This okay. Then you'll be able to. Then body and mind, body and mind drop away by themselves without doing. What we are thinking about? What we are thinking about? Mind and the mind and the body. You see, dropped away by themselves without doing anything. See, then you will just recognize who we are, or who you are. See, when you face this, you just become dead. This is our true self. Even so okay. Being so, as soon as you touch the reality, so if you do, as long as you just try to understand what it is, see, this doesn't. If you just try to do. So as soon as you touch the reality, you start to get lost. See, you're gonna be confused. Yeah. So you're gonna be confused soon. See, if you just try to understand this doesn't, if you do, so that you're gonna be confused soon. See? So this doesn't, you should not do it. You start to get out. However, the reality of the although you feel confused quite much, but that's happening only in your mind. You see, or even you just think about, oh, you are so confused, but it's happened only in your mind. But our true self never confused, never have any trouble. You see, and the reality of this one is to ourselves is always alive with a certainty that never wavers, never be confused. Congratulations, congrats. That's our true self. Although you understand what the true self is, that is not enough. So if you just understand what the true ourselves see, then you just try to do zazen. What the zazen is, as I just mentioned, as a Zen Master Dogen teach us. See, we are whatever thinking of our thought. See, never try to understand it intellectually what it is. Just throw away the thinking of all thought as it is. This is totally enough. You do this so that the more you just do this, you simply become what you are faced with. This is the reality. This is a true the reality, true self, without doing anything. Then eventually, what we thinking about the mind and the body dropped away by themselves without doing. Then true ourselves will be manifest. Right now, true ourselves will be manifest. Definitely, true ourselves is manifest. Definitely. This is as Shakyamuni Buddha or the other patriarchs just recommend us to do. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Maybe this is the last time for this the session. So we're gonna just meet next month. But in the meanwhile, we'll be able to do that. If you can do it, that will be fine. As I just mentioned, the petition, 1 square meter, 1 square meter is enough. Not more than that. 1 square meter is enough. That's more than that. This simply sit. This something definitely. As a Shakyamuni Pedro can mention about something. If you can do it, something you'll be able to encounter to yourself. To yourself is totally huge, not what we are thinking about the self. You see, so these are the true self we have to encounter. Definitely. Okay. Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. Muchas gracias. Hi. See you next